Greetings everybody, welcome to another episode of Fish Keeping Jamaica. Welcome to my channel. Alright, so have you ever looked into a fish bowl or aquarium and wonder whether or not the goldfish is a male, or should I say the fish is a male or a female? This is a typical question that I get as a fish trader, fish keeper, a fish breeder. How did the fish actually become a male or a female? You ever think about that before? Sexual differentiation in fish, namely cichlid, practically is something of great significance, right? There's a lot of complexity which is dependent on the multiple factor. Right? It's not just a male or a female. The question is being asked whether or not a cichlid can actually change sex from male to female, from female to male. Right? This presentation is based on research, documented research on this practical, well, on this variable, should I say, on this question, right? On this thing, right? Okay, cool. So, meanwhile, I share what I've discussed. Meanwhile, I share what I've discovered. You will be seeing some of my cichlids in which I have. Right now, cichlids have a great variability in timing of their sexual differentiation. And the different species have different sexual lability. Lability. Yeah, lability. That's it. Yeah, sexual lability. Over time, the sexual ability is like a sort of plasticity that allows them to like change their sex from male to female, female to male, as the circumstances in which the surviving actually change. In fact, there are more reports of various expression of sexual lability in cichlids than in any group of freshwater fish. Now, I did a video a few months or years ago where I looked at whether or not the swordtail is actually changing sex, right? Some persons agree while some persons disagree, because persons have actually shared with me that they have actually seen their swordtail actually change from being a male to a female. Well, based on research, this is something that is most likely to occur amongst cichlids than, should I say, live bearers? Yeah, live bearers, right? This is referred to as sexual lability, right? Now, sexual lability occurs in four different phases. Now, the first phase occurs during fertilization. Right, and this is where the sex is solely determined by the zygote, or should I say, yeah, the genetics, the genes from the male to female, just like the male, human male, the X and the Y, and the X and the X for the female, and then they'll go together, you create a boy or a girl, right? This is most familiar sexual ability due to commonality, right? This is something that everybody accepts. Now, the second phase, right, the second phase occurs during larva stage of the life cycle, and certain environmental factors such as temperature and pH, right, can really determine the sexual identity of your cichlids. So you can practically have an egg, and the egg is predetermined to be a male, but as a result of the temperature, it end up become a female. That's the fry, right? So you might end up, depending on the temperature, you might end up get more male in your spawn than female. You can get more female than male, and this is all based on the temperature and the pH of the water that the fish actually spawned in. Yeah, it's a fact, research fact. That's proven. Right now, the third phase occurs during juvenile stage, where the identity is determined by certain social cues, such as the size of the cichlid in the community, right? So the variant, the change can actually occur at that point in time. Now, the fourth phase of changing sexual ability occurs during adulthood, when the cichlid experiencing sequential hermaphroditism, right? Having cichlid is born with one sex, but changes sex at adulthood. After the hermaphroditic change takes place, the fish either has both male and female germ cell in the gonads or gonads, however you pronounce it, and it completely change from one sex to the next. Now, overall, these studies, the studies in which I'm actually looking at, right, prove invaluable to fish farmers during the breeding season, especially those who raise cichlids such as like tilapia, right. Some persons love to have more female than male, some male than female. You can actually get your spawn to be more male, get your spawn to be more female by adjusting the temperature and by adjusting the pH, right? Getting that perfect, you will have more females than male cichlid in within your aquarium space or within your pond space or within your pond fish farm or wherever you keep your fish, right? Farmers out there, right, that is farming cichlids like tilapia, right, they artificially change the sex of their crop in order to produce the highest yield possible, right. This results in help from the development of organism from what I call it now. This is organism who have sexual lability, like gastropods and plants, right. Genetic factors also has a part to play. First and foremost, genetics has a strong pull in the sexual differentiation of cichlids. This lability, the factor is determined by at fertilization. At least 6 distinct sex chromosomes have been identified in cichlid fish, right, and many remain unknown. Now, there are several studies about this, especially amongst African cichlids, right. It's really interesting, people. It's really interesting. I never know that this was really something that persons will actually, look at. Now, the best explanation for all of the sexual determined loci in cichlids is that they are responsible for sexually antagonistic selection. Now, you want X amount of females because you want your stock to actually continue to be replenished, right? So therefore you keep your temperature of your water certain stead, you keep your pH at certain. So some persons, they like to be like the only individual that is actually breeding certain fish, so therefore they would like probably have a small select male or female brood, and the rest probably both male, well, mostly males. Keeping the temperature and the pH at a certain level will actually limit the amount of males or limit the amount of females. Thus, when they sell the ornamental, let's say like you sell the pet store, certain species, you sell either mostly males or mostly females. So therefore, the chance of persons actually breeding them is like has actually like fallen to a minuscule amount. Now, genetics has a great part to play in all of this. It plays with the sex, and it has to do with the treatment of the fish with exogenous hormones, right? So persons can fish farmers, researchers have actually proven that actually exposing the fish to exogenous hormones can actually change the sex of the fish from male to female. And you also have what you call environmental factors. Environmental factors can be that which help to determine the sex of the fish that you are practically keeping. So social factors, right? Social factors can be a means of social cue for your cichlid changing sex, yeah. Namely, the size of other cichlids in the surrounding environment have also, like on a fish farm or in an aquarium, can affect the sexual differentiation. And that is like research findings, right? Groups of six is separated by small or large over a period of 6 months, right? This can actually encourage a cichlid to actually change sex. Yeah, that's according to research. It's strange, right? Now, if a genetic factor alone, if genetic factor alone control the sex of the fish, the group with the small individual fish would be like expected to be all female, and the group with the large individual large fish would be expected to be the male, right? However, without the aggressive behavior of the larger fish, the smaller fish are now able to grow equally as large as the large fish group, right? Now the larger fish of both the groups practically can be male, right? Well, should be male, right? And the females are normally smaller. Now, for those persons wondering what I'm talking about, I'm just talking about the whole idea of grouping the fish according to size, right? Chances are that as a result of the social factor, now you want to be big, there's no male there, so therefore the female just actually through as a result of this social cue end up becoming a male, right? And this is a research that has been carried out on numerous cichlids and fish farms. You know, it's just really interesting looking at this. You know, it's just really interesting, guys. All right. Also, another factor which might influence the changing of cichlid gender is hermaphroditism. Now, this also exists in humans, right? And although there's much controversy about this, but you still have sequential hermaphroditism that actually occur amongst aquatic creatures, and that is where in which evidence has actually shown that one fish might end up with both sexual orientation, male and female, so it can choose which one, and then that will become dominant, right? Research have actually shown where in which fish that normally color up when it's a female, and when it's a male it have a less attractive look. You have males that are actually coloring up, right? And male fish have actually been trying to coat that fish so as to reproduce. So it's a whole other alabaloo as far as the whole sexing of cichlids is concerned. And research, right? The individual dominant behavior like tail nipping and chasing, right? This is normally seen amongst male cichlids, and as I said before about the color pattern and all that. Now, situation can change, and you might end up seeing the females start develop male secondary sexual characteristics. Now, that is a strange thing for you to consider. On the contrary, right, some cichlids demonstrate same-sex pairing without sex change, right? This suggests that they change sexual behaviorally, but not physically. So in a sense, in Jamaica you would say that somebody is tomboy or tomgirl. You're a girl but you just act like a boy. This actually happened in aquatic world, right? And it not to be confused with hermaphroditism or lability. Yeah, something like that, right? And this have been a typical discovery amongst researchers looking at fish sexuality over the years, right? So in wrapping up, I realize that the video is kind of getting a little I call it now too long. Let's just put it short. Cichlid farming demonstrate great flexibility in sexual differentiation, right? All cichlid species are able to differentiate at each phase of sexual ability. Now, this help us to understand the differentiation, and can be much more of which, can be much more complicated than just a chromosome label, right? So it's not because X and Y go together, you get whatever, you end up with a male or a female, but there are several factors, especially in the aquatic world, that actually contribute to fish sexuality. This is right here for another Fish Keep in Jamaica. Join the conversation. Leave a comment below. All of this what I shared a while ago is something that I've been reading over the past couple of days, and I'm just like summarizing the whole context of what it was shared. Right? Let me know what you think. Have a wonderful day. Bless up, people.